Hi. Hi, guy.
Hey, I forgot your.
Oh, I have a bunch of them. Yeah, I wanted to apologize. I was like kind of like rushed at the, like I was like kind of really regretting that I left prematurely while you're set. I was trying to take other people
When we
home.
play music at the end.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I was only thinking. I was only thinking about our time, kind of, our attempts at theatrical efforts earlier in the evening. We did something together.
Yeah, I appreciate the music.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, we'll be doing something again, I'm sure, one of these days. I was playing somewhere. Oh.
So you weren't here yesterday, right? It's pretty moving. I appreciate it. Yeah. Anyway. Let's make way. Yeah.
For those of you standing in the back, there are a number of seats right here in front and also in the middle there. So please come forward and find a seat. We're about to start. We're just gonna wait a minute or two for everybody to get seated.
Once you come around that way, it'll be easy. Yeah, come around.
There's Hollis, there's a couple of seats right there.
Okay.
Hi, Hollis. Right here. There's one more. I think you might want to go. Yeah, probably. You might want to go around.
Yeah, go around.
Yeah. And if you really want to be close to the action, there's some seats right in front of us. Right in front. Well, you'll know. So anyway, you'll find out one way or the other. All right. Well, welcome everyone to the 8th annual Carport Theater Spring Show. Yay! Nice to see you all here, the familiar faces and the new people too. Tonight we are going to be exploring the human psyche, and we're going to be blurring the boundaries between stories, between the people in the stories, and between fact and fiction. We're going to get a glimpse into the relationship between an author and the character that she has created. We're going to be visiting some pretty dark places where it seems like things are breaking down, but they're also the places which give birth to beautiful, glorious moments where the light breaks through. After the show, we invite anyone who has questions to come forward, and some members of the cast will be here to answer questions in the time between the end of the show and when we call the raffle. The rest, everybody else is just welcome to hang around and socialize and enjoy the refreshments. But if you feel like you've been stimulated intellectually and you really want to converse with the cast, we'll be here for a little time right after the show. So anyway, enjoy. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, please allow me to introduce myself. I am your imagination. This story tonight and everyone in it is your imagination. I am the myth. I am the belief. I am the illusion, the in-between, the shadow. I am the glue that's going to hold this whole story together. We're all like the glue holding this story together. It's like a house. We're constructing a house, holding it together, glued together, and then we're going to just burn it all down and watch it blown away like smoke in your imagination. Look here, I'm putting up a wall. It's all bullshit. It's all your imagination. You know that. Divisions, borders, walls, between actors and audience, between me and all of you. Constructing, holding up, glued together, burning down, breaking through borders that don't exist. Stories going around in our heads, stories I am telling myself, stories you are telling. Good and bad, happy and sad, nighttime and day, heaven and hell, imaginary walls, a shadow on the stage, on this stage, in your head, all made up, just going around believing. As I told you from the start, none of it is true. It's all bullshit. We just made it all up. It's just not true. Just going around believing. Just making it all up. Just beliefs.
She was only a girl when her life was cut in half. But what her mind forgot, her body would remember, even after her visible wounds were healed. Pain. Pain is like weather. It changes both its shape and color. White pain is the worst. Why? Because darkness promises light, and white absorbs it, sharp as glass. A white sky without shore or sail or breath. The white of salt, of the colorless men who won't stay dead. And silence is the cruelest white of all. Tinfoil slit with a silent blade, the one they used to slit her tongue. Does her suffering offend? It may. Suffering offends both the one who tells and the one who listens. When the teller protects the listener, she harms herself. When she speaks her truth, the listener is abraded. But you've survived my telling, so deal with it. This is how it is.
Welcome to Grist for the Mill. I'm your host, Felicity Rose. Today we are lucky to have in the studio with us Arlene Conroy, author of the bestseller, The Bad Apple, and of 8 other novels, including her latest, Border Saga, which is being published by Gilded Press. Arlene, welcome to Grist for the Mill.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I've enjoyed all your books ever since I read Sliver of the Moon 15 years ago.
Oh, National Book Award, Pulitzer Prize, Nobel Prize, Order of the British Empire. Oh,
You create totally gripping narratives, and the characters are so multidimensional, I feel like I'm living among them. In all of your books, there is usually one particular I resonate with. In Border Saga, it's the Mexican girl, Loba.
I mean, she is the center of the narrative.
Your book is a complex story of families on both sides of the border, involving many characters. Why did you choose to make her so important to the narrative?
You don't have to answer that. You really want to break through that wall?
The history of the borderlands begins with the original inhabitants, those we call indigenous peoples, who came from the north way before the Spanish, who then slaughtered them brutally. Loba represents the psychic scarring of this history.
Let's listen to an excerpt from Loba's story. Arlene, could you read for us?
This is the bit about her starting her life in the Hacienda Rosita after being partially nursed back to health. After she was sufficiently healed to stand unassisted, they dressed her in a cast-off gingham dress and slippers. As soon as she was steady on her feet, she was handed a broom and set to sweeping the dirt and tile floors. They moved her pallet from the house to the barn, but they neglected to give her a name save Muchacha, girl. Though the younger of the two brothers, the darker boy had his own for her, Thea, the ugly one.
Thea. So this girl is shamed all over again, yet eventually she develops great personal power. Can you explain how that happens?
Psychic pain, terrible abuse, triggers survival mechanisms that are deeply powerful and spiritual, and I wanted Loba to embody these.
Loba means wolf in Spanish. She acquires this name from the boy who called her Thea and was planning to attack her.
No.
Instead, she succeeds in hurting him.
She is protecting him from the wolf. The wolf is defending her cubs.
Please read that part for us.
She heard his footsteps and saw everything from where she was hidden in the shadows of the oleander that overhung the path between the house and the barn. It was a night that spoke of spring, that clung to winter frigid as a knife and luminous. She knew the boy was tracking her down before she realized some other creature was tracking him. Its shape was apparent, lurking in the undergrowth thick with banana trees and gathering itself to lunge. From her hiding place, she saw the beast's eyes as yellow pricks in the night, and Ricardo's as rimmed moons flashing with terror. Branches and voices cracked, and fur collided with flesh. The ruckus sent the forest ringing. Should she retreat or hold her ground? Either way, she was in danger too. So she aimed her pitcher of sour milk, the one she'd been guarding in the trees, at the creature's head and the way he stung its eyes. The girl saw the creature was a she-wolf, defending her territory, not hunting for food, and stunned from the surprise attack, the wolf slipped away with her tail flagging. The boy staggered toward her, and when his face grew level with hers, she saw how badly he'd been gored. Damn you, brew her bitch to hell. Yet for all she had saved him, he now believed her a sorcerer, transformed into a murderous beast. He drew himself up to his full height, unbuckled his belt, and swung it like a lasso toward her face, but her fingers got to his throat first, as she cupped his Adam's apple and squeezed. Her hands were strong from kneading tortillas and slaughtering chickens. She knew how to wring a neck, but she would not take his life. She didn't want his death on her conscience, so she relaxed her fingers from his throat and saw how the wolf had slashed his right cheek with her claws. She herself might have taken a shard from the broken pitcher and dug in deeper. but to what end? His wound was severe enough as it was. She helped haul his body inside the hacienda and into his late mother's chamber. Later, she came to his bedside with poultices and an ointment she had made from the bark of the myrtle tree. She rubbed it on his face and into his wound. Its bitter smell spoke to his rotting one. When he was asleep, he didn't know she was the one touching and bathing him. He thought it was his mother rising from the dead. So he dutifully swallowed the soup she spooned into his mouth. When his eyes opened and he saw who this figure was, the blue drained out of them and he yelped and spat out the broth. Unlike the wolf, the girl was not cowed. So she fed him another spoonful until he realized he had no choice but to swallow. Loba, he whispered through clenched jaws. Loba, the she-wolf. At last, this muchacha had a name, and it was one that pleased her.
Would you like to know your results? The results of your biopsy. Hello? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I want to know the results.
Are you sure? Or would you rather wait?
No, I'm sure. I want to know.
You have cancer. Are you still there?
Yes. What does that mean?
Well, actually, it's good news. You have a very small cancer in one tissue sample. It's not up to stage 1. You have several alternatives.
Wonderful.
Well, we can monitor the trend, check you every 3 months, and see what happens.
So I'm in cancer purgatory, a force field. Next alternative.
Well, there's radiation.
That sounds promising. I could be like the X-Men, a mutant, and have superpowers. What's the outcome?
Typically, it's impotency. So it's not like being bitten by a radioactive spider.
Wonderful. I could call myself Disappointment Man and wear a cape. My wife will be thrilled. Tell you what, let me think about all this and I'll call you back. Well, the biopsy was on December 12th, so at least they didn't say, Merry Christmas, you have cancer, Happy Holidays. The question is, how do I break out of this? Do I go crazy living for the moment? Do I get the giant bag of Doritos and start eating? It's not like I need to worry about my health anymore. But fat and dying seems a lot worse than just dying, so that's not good. Or should I get spiritual? go down and make amends to all the people I've wronged in life, family, friends, coworkers, people in general, or take up astrology, maybe change my name, or feng shui and change furniture positions. Or should I just reflect on life and succumb to death? If there is an afterlife, will I have a body? Will I have to pay taxes? Will I meet annoying deceased relatives? This would be a lot funnier if it was happening to someone else and not me. I haven't told many people about this. It's kind of a weird vibe. I have an actor friend of mine. I know what he would say. So, it's not terminal, you're not going to die. What's the big whoop? But let me tell you about my latest project. Things seem different now. I have a whole pile of stuff back here in my garage. I had a good job last year, so I went on a buying spree. Golf clubs, guitars, fishing equipment, etc. Somehow, material things just don't seem that important anymore. There's no time to lose. I need to push out of the comfortable into the fascinating. This could be the hardest thing I've ever done, but it could be the best.
Life sucks. I don't even know who I am. And I don't like myself.
Oh my God! I'm having a breakthrough. Oh, it's amazing. It's wonderful. Actually, it's unbelievable. I mean, I can't believe it. Can you believe it? There I was, totally down in the dumps. I mean, a complete wreck at the end of my rope. And suddenly, everything turned around.
Everything turned around, really.
I can't explain it. But right there, in the middle of all the chaos, there was the breakthrough.
She can't explain it because it doesn't make any sense.
But it doesn't have to make sense.
It's nonsense. Total nonsense. You thought you were having a breakthrough, but you're really having a breakdown.
A breakdown? It doesn't feel like a breakdown.
Well, I sure as heck know what a breakdown feels like. And you're having one.
Could I really be having a breakdown? What if there's no difference?
What if there's no difference between a breakdown and a breakthrough? Oh my God.
What if I'm seeing it upside down?
What if I'm seeing it upside down?
I think I'm having a breakthrough, and everyone else thinks I'm having a breakdown.
I thought I was having a breakthrough, but I'm really having a breakdown. No, I thought I was having a breakdown. A breakthrough. Yes, the most amazing breakthrough ever. It's great. It's fantastic. And we're out here in the carport having fun. Oh my God. Yes, yes. Breakthrough. Forever. The best ever. Yes.
Years ago, at the beginning of December, I caught 9 mice in those wooden traps in one day in my kitchen. There was one that was left and he was in a wax trap and he was half stuck and I didn't know what to do. So I just stood there looking at him and he suffocated right in front of me. 5 days later, my dog Artemis, black dachshund, died of neurological damage. I had to put her down at the vet. I rushed her to the veterinarian. That was on solstice. The last time I talked to my mom, I asked her, do you still think I'm crazy? You know, when they said 20 years ago I was crazy, do you still think that? I mean, I have a degree, I own a house, I've had a good job for 20 years. I don't have kids. So, do you really think I'm crazy? She said, oh, yeah. I said, really? Why? She said, well, you're the most creative person I've ever met. I said, okay. I got a call at 3 a.m. on January 2nd from my dad. He was at the VA hospital. And he said that my mom was in the emergency room and she had the flu and it was really bad and he wanted me to come. So I came and I watched my mom die in 4 hours on the table in the emergency room from the flu. The CPR workers, they did 3 rounds of CPR. My dad disappeared. The doctor looked at me, and so I called her death. She had cancer and she didn't know it. For a month and a half after that happened, my sister, 3 years older than me, slept with my father in his bed for a month and a half. She left, and then my cousin, who's 21 years old, blonde, blue like me, was staying with my dad to help him, and he sexually assaulted her. She called me in hysterics. I called the police. The last time I talked to my father, he said, you stay away from me and my house. family tree burned down today. Or was it long ago? My mother bleeds. My dad can't see anything. You're a child refugee, dreaming of an honest family that never was and never will be. Sister Blue, I'm sad for you. We were trapped. That's why we fought like that, raging against the bars. Like when you threw my clothes in the front yard, I called you names. I truly hated you. What I didn't know was I was you. You were me. And things aren't as they seem. They betrayed me. Then they saved me. Then betrayed me again. I gotta get away from punished for years. A child refugee dreaming of an honest family that never was and never will be. Put it in the hands of magic. Some things come out of nowhere. Some things can only go there. Ooh. I lost my mom, my dad, my sister, my dog in 2 months. I met a man who told me that the reason that moths stop and look at the sun and they're motionless or they fly into the flame is because they're confused. They're using the moon to navigate and they lose themselves. One night I was watching the moths flying around outside and I thought, what's going on here? I had this little toy microscope and I broke it and I took the lens and I taped it to my cell phone. And I went out and I looked at the moths in my backyard. I found the moths. And then when the winter went away, I found the birds. And then I'll find the moths again. golden eagles. I found the sandhill cranes. I found the burden and the monarchs and the sparrows and the tern, the mergansers, the finches. I found my mother. Somehow I found my mother. And the birds.
I thought it was magic and she was a part of it, but she's an ordinary girl. I thought it was magic and she was a part of it. She's just an ordinary girl. Can't always tell right away, so see her on a different day and see her in a different light. I can tell when I got it right. She's just an ordinary girl. What can you do with an ordinary girl? I really, really don't know. What can you do with a magical girl? I'll let a little bit show. Oh, I am so miserable. So very, very miserable. I need a girlfriend. I'm so miserable without a girlfriend.
I can help with that.
You'll be my girlfriend?
No. But I read all about it in my psychology book. It's here on page. Oh, I can't see the page. 340.
Page 340. Hey, is it your phone number on page 340?
No, it talks about how all discontent stems from a desire. So you see, you simply have to give up your desires to have a girlfriend, and you'll no longer be miserable.
I don't want to shed my desires. I need a girlfriend. I'm miserable because I need a girlfriend.
Are you paying attention? All you have to do is shed that desire, and you'll no longer be miserable.
Oh, I just told you, I don't want to shed my desires. You know, I'm not aspiring to become like one of those ascended masters, giving up all worldly desires. I need a girlfriend. I think having a girlfriend would be way better than shedding all my worldly desires.
Let me ask you this. What's so important about this girlfriend that you'd rather be miserable than to simply shed your desire?
Well, because girlfriends are magnificent and wonderful and pretty and because I am absolutely, irrefutably, undeniably miserable without one.
I have an idea. Right here in my therapy class, we read about coping mechanisms for the cure of miserableness. What you need is a change in your thinking.
You know, I think a girlfriend would be a cure for miserable discontent.
Nope. No. Are you listening to me? Do you want my help?
Yes. Oh, yes, please, please help me.
You need to change your focus. Dance is a known cure for miserable discontent.
You know, I'm pretty sure a girlfriend is a known cure for miserable discontent.
Nope. The cure's dance. Just try it.
All right. You know, I'm not a dancer, but I'll give it a try.
Singing is also a cure. Try it.
Okay. You got a pretty face and a special style. You're the best dressed girl in town. I wish you are my girlfriend. You're the cutest thing around. Even when you won't look at me, you're just the cutest thing. Even when you won't speak to me, you are just the cutest thing. Even when you treat me like I don't exist, you're so cute. I want you. Even when you're acting like I don't exist, there's no getting over you. Now you are my favorite girl. Now you are my favorite girl. Now you are my favorite girl.
That's it. Now try the two together.
All right. Got a pretty face and a special style. You're the best dressed girl in town. I wish you are my girlfriend. You're the cutest thing around. It's working! I'm no longer miserable.
Wonderful. You've had a breakthrough. See, I told you. I read all that in my books. You've shed your desires and you're no longer miserable.
Oh, yes, I am no longer miserable, but you know, it's not because I shed my desires. No, it's because I want a girlfriend. I want. I am no longer miserable because of you.
No. 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 Listen to me. How do you stop being miserable?
By shedding all desire.
Because all discontent stems from
Desire.
Ambient heat was browning the landscape, cuddling the mesquite until it curled up its toes.
So, Arlene, are you telling us that when the teller protects the listener, She harms herself?
Sloper who says that.
Does it matter?
I rarely share directly because I have no idea how they'll take it.
Shamed all over again.
Terrified of what it might wake up in them and in myself.
Sweeping the dirt.
When it's hard to imagine living to the next day when the pain's so intense.
Pain, sharp as glass. A white sky without shore or sail or breath.
You were only a girl.
I was only a girl when my life was cut in half.
Eerie, she thought, that river water was the colour of drying blood, thin and frank and rusted.
Silence is the cruelest white of all.
It's a constant companion that walks beside me.
She asked of this wilted, hopeless landscape, where to now? And the river answered, come.
Should you retreat or hold your ground?
It's the fine balance I'm working with.
You could have taken the shard from the broken pitcher and dug in deeper.
To what end?
You did not want his death on your conscience.
The wound was deep enough as it was.
She was done with witnessing. She was out on her own now, without anyone else to love, to hate, to heal or to destroy, with only herself to wait on.
You were sufficiently healed.
At last, I had a name.
You wanted to embody that power.
I could have jumped and hurled myself into the current.
And had she hit bottom and split her skull, so be it. But it was too late for that. Life and death were things of her past. Now she must set her gaze toward the farthest edge of the firmament, toward the gash millennia piled onto millennia had worn itself into sandstone and granite and shale. The Santa Elena Canyon, shaped like a woman's purse, the source of all things, the eye of the needle. And it was her turn to thread it.
I was the one who set the fire.
She was the one who set the fire, the one who burned the Hacienda Rosita to the ground, who rolled the gas tank out of the barn and used the length of tubing to siphon the fuel into pails. She was the one who sealed the vacuum and spat and rinsed the acrid aftertaste from her mouth and gums, grateful she had lost her taste buds so long ago. After she had filled 4 buckets, she doused every room in the place. Floor, walls, windows, and furnitures, the doors too. Then she dragged the half-empty tank into the kitchen, and she did not replace the cap. She set it aside to allow the vacant space inside to fill with oxygen until it was fit to burst. But not yet. First, she must put her hand into the flame, hold it steady, and wait on pain. And it came to her, and it slit her from top to toe. It singed her, and it stitched her up until she was screaming at the top of her lungs, in her own true voice, until she was howling for joy, for rage, for grief, howling for her death and for her life. And instantly the sky turned riotous around her, a whirl of scarlet, cochineal, apricot, amber, and flagrant yellow, ellipses of violet, emerald bursts. The birds began swirling and curling like cyclones. The phoebe birds and the white-throated swifts, the green jays, the nuthatches, the white-collared seed-eaters, and yes, the grackles too. Monarch butterflies crowding out the milkweed at her feet, tethered as they were to the tenuous banks of the Rio Grande.
I gave her a voice, and her voice is my true voice, and perhaps it's yours as well. Now, it belongs to all of us. We have created a space, a seeming framework, a safe container. And now we're going to let the fire burn it all away.
Wonderful audio-visual expert, Mark Maselli, and our all-around help with camera and raffle tickets and all kinds of such things, Alexandra Lightbody, and all the volunteers and all the people who've been supportive and encouraging. So for those of you, again, who are curious about more the background of this piece, we're gonna stay here. Some of the cast members will stay here to answer any questions. But if you just want to hang out, maybe buy some raffle tickets, maybe have some refreshments and socialize, you're certainly more than welcome to do that. And we'll be calling the raffle winners in about 15 minutes. Anybody have any questions? Any curiosity?
If you have questions and you wanted to come a little bit front,